Have you ever felt like your life is totally out of control? It doesn't matter what you plan, it doesn't matter what you do, nothing seems to work. Everything falls apart. You're depressed sometimes, you're discouraged, problems happen to you. Just, out of the blue, something happens that you never expected to happen. It's not what you planned for, it's not what you wanted. And you wonder, where's God? How could he let this thing happen to me? What about this person that I cared for? What about this thing I had planned with my wife or my husband? What about all of our great plans we had made when we were young? And things fall apart in our lives. Where do we go? What choices do we have in this life but to look to God? I love the passage I was reminded of just tonight in Joshua chapter 1 and verse 9. Listen to these words. God speaking, have I not commanded you? Be strong and of courage. Do not be afraid, neither be dismayed, for Jehovah your God is with you in all places where you go. Not about you, but I've been to a lot of places. Some of them not so good. One of our brothers today was talking to me, and he said, people just don't understand what you've been through, do they? They don't understand what it's like to be the places you've been. And I responded, no, probably not, unless they've been in one of the wars, Desert Storm, and or one of those things, and have seen all the terrible things that take place in other countries. It's difficult dealing with those things, living daily, struggling to make ends meet. Sometimes not having the food, sometimes not having the medical care, sometimes having no recourse whatsoever. When we lived in Africa, I actually had a rack put on the top of my SUV for one purpose, to carry coffins. We had so many people who would die and couldn't afford to get the body back to their home. They usually buried them in their home farm. And they just couldn't afford it. What do you do? It's a small way to help. But can you imagine not being able to even take care of someone who's passed from your life that you're struggling with, and you're going through the heartache and the suffering and the cares and the problems, and you can't even afford that, or when your children are hungry and you have nothing to feed them. Nothing to feed them. One of the big dishes when we were in Africa was collard greens. Okay, and they called it sukuma wiki. And it literally means the end of the week, because the end of the week you had nothing left. But you could go out to the garden and you could get some greens off the plants in the garden and boil those. If you're lucky, you had some onions to put in with them for a little flavor. Could you imagine being that poor? Maybe you are that poor. Maybe you're dealing with those things. I don't know. Maybe you're struggling like so many in our world today struggled. But again, remember these words. Have I not commanded you, be strong and of good courage, do not be afraid, neither be dismayed, for Jehovah your God is with you in all the places where you go. It may be you're going down some pretty tight places in your life here in America or in some other country, wherever it may be. You may be going into some dark places in your life, some places of pain, some places of difficulty. I don't know what you might be dealing with, but I do know this, that God is with us no matter what happens. One of my best friends in Texas, and he's having so many difficulties. His family, his daughters are struggling with their health, and it doesn't look good for some of them. What are they going to do? The only thing we can do is remember that God is with us no matter where we go. He is our God. He will lift us up. He will protect us, and he gives us that hope for the future. There is nothing else that's important in this life. Where are you going? What are you going to do? How are you going to stand for your God? That's what's truly important. Have a blessed day today. If you can, I'd love it if you could subscribe. I'm going to continue talking to you about this type of thing that touches our lives and helps us in our Christian walk. So please spend some time with me if you can.